forgot to actually launch Minecraft, so oopsie daisy. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for episode 7 of Upon This Block. I missed you guys, missed you all very much. It's been way too long. College season has been far too intense for me. Just got an issue. Won't be 1 second, but I've just got this stupid issue with my headphones. Just 1 second. Just gotta connected voice. Music. Disconnect. Reconnect. Because what the heck is this? This is... Oh my word, this is annoying. Actually, you know what? I've got to back up just for this scenario. New earphones. So what's happening right now is that my current headphones, these normal headphones I use for music, for some stupid reason, they can only play like one audio source at a time, and for some reason it's just, they're just not picking up the, whatchamacallit, they're just not picking up the game audio. So I've just got to pair them really quickly. It won't be 1 second. Okay. Let's see if it works. Apparently not. Oh, this is okay, this is genuinely annoying. Oh. Nope, still not. What the heck is this? Why isn't this not working? This is... Why is it not flipping working for my in-game audio? Is that so bloody hard? I'm gonna do it one more time. Yes. I'm gonna do this one more time, and if it doesn't work, I'm just gonna either play through my new stereos or through the old headset, which I do. I genuinely do not want to do that. Why the hell? Oh, this is annoying me. Not the best start. Terribly sorry, people. Terribly sorry. Stuff it. I'll play the stereo. If you guys hear any feedback, like you hear my name or audio or whatever through my microphone, if you hear feedback through it, do please tell me. Yeah. No, you idiot, don't connect. Okay. Okay, what in the heck is going on? Ooh. Those are my speakers. Unless... Why isn't... I genuinely have no idea what the hell is happening right now. My Minecraft audio just isn't coming through at all. I cannot hear the game. It's not even appearing on the sound mix. You know, I'm going to reboot it. Reboot it just really quickly. Might have to do with the new Minecraft launcher, I'm not sure. If that's the case, that'd be bloody annoying. There we go. So now let's see if I can actually get it working with the headphones. There's one more attempt, people. Terribly sorry. Or not. Still decides to... You know, don't worry. Stuff it. We're starting. I do not care. Now, Now, God willing, there is not too much feedback. But yeah, stuff it. We're starting. I don't care anymore. Alright. So, let us get back into the land. The degenerate land. Hang on, what? Did that just automatically upgrade or something, or? Should I risk it? Should I risk it? Because I never remember upgrading this, or did I? No, I think I actually did. Was I playing a patch? Or was I playing... I don't even remember. You know what? We're going to risk it for the biscuit. One more restart. Terribly sorry, people. One more restart. I'm going to go straight to the latest snapshot. And play with that. J-Pow, my man, how are ya? Glad to see you here. Yeah, no, sorry, I never, so basically I got a bunch of new audio stuff. So why I'm having these issues, because I've got a bunch of new audio stuff that I just bought over the last week. I got a actual proper stereo system, because like, if I wanted sound from my computer, my monitor has like a pathetic speakers, so I can't hear it, which is, I'm not surprised, it's a monitor, it's not meant to be a mad speaker system or anything. But, so I always was wearing my headphones if I wanted to do audio on my computer at all, and after a while they get uncomfortable, of course. So I eventually ended up buying this bunch of different things. I've got a Bluetooth dongle now, adapter that I plug into a USB port, so that I can connect with Bluetooth stuff. So Bluetooth earphones and my Bluetooth headset. But then also I bought like a proper full speaker system. So now I can do audio stuff without headphones at all, and it's great. It's a really, really nice set of speakers. Really, really nice. So, created by an incompatible... Oh my... What the heck? It says... This is genuinely ticking me off now. Okay, last restart. And J-Pal, I am doing not too bad. In fact, actually, cool thing, the reason why I'm doing this now is because I just uploaded my final college assignment for the semester, thank God, last night. So now I am back to making content. It's going to be a good time. I'm gonna absolutely love... I forgot to change the bloody version. I am a sped. I am an absolute sped. All right. Well, bright side, there's only 7 minutes past the actual launch time, so... Alright. Release 1.17.1. Thank you, Andrew, thank you. Alright, it's all that weight off my chest is the best feeling ever. Back to doing what I need to do. Okay. I know what I'm doing. Let's risk it for the biscuit. Hopefully the world isn't scuffed. Fingers crossed. Because I never upgraded this world. I never upgraded the world version. I don't know why it's doing that. What? What the heck is this? Hold the what? What the heck is this? What the heck happened? Okay, so... Hey, JHS, welcome back. What? So it's just... Wait, what? What the heck happened to it? I'm not this... What? Okay, so I just started...
Totally nothing, no items, fresh world, and I was underground. What the heck happened? Hang on, what are my coordinates? I am at a loss. I have no idea what's happening. I genuinely have no idea what's happening. Well, okay, time to use my skills of improvisation. As a high school teacher, you've got to learn to improvise when everything you plan suddenly goes down the toilet without a moment's notice. So, what I'm going to do instead, this may actually be a good time to show off my current world that I play in the latest Minecraft snapshot. So for those who just got here, my Upon This Block world has just crapped its pants. It's not showing anything. Or rather, it just totally reset me for no reason. So there's no church there, none of that. It's gone. See you later. So that's disappointing. I'm sorry about that. That's JHS says, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. That's true. I could probably use the wisdom of Job there, and F. Yep, F. Press F, boys. Press F for the corrupted world. So what I'm doing in this world is that I bought a woodland in my main area where I live in a village. I bought a woodland mansion map from a trader, so that I can raid this woodland mansion for all its stuff. Anyone there? Nope. Cool. Let's do it. The only issue is that I don't have any torches on these, so it's kind of futile to raid it now because there's a lot of dark spaces where enemies can still spawn and all that. JH, Kyle Rittenhouse acquitted of all charges. Yes. Oh man, that was. I watched that live. That was actually beautiful to see that. I just feeling that on behalf of you Americans. It's actually, you guys dodged a bullet with that. Like if he was not acquitted, the precedent that would have been set would have been catastrophic for the United States. But it's actually amazing. He got acquitted, justly acquitted. Everyone can see the videos themselves, the witness testimony and all that. Absolutely cut and dry. He is innocent. He is totally innocent. It's fantastic it happened the way it did. So I'm great. I'm glad to see it. Anyway, back to Minecraft. Do I want to raid this woodland mansion, or do I want to... You know what? I think I'm going to journey back to my house. And I'm going to show you around, basically. The stuff I've done. This really, really nice quartz Greek-style building that I've been making entirely in survival. So I'm either buying quartz or mining it from the Nether. So I'm going to start making the journey back. So I believe it's northeast. Yep, northeast. Yep, too easy. So as long as those numbers in the X and Z coordinates go down, I'm heading in the right direction. So now we're starting a long road trip, people, and in this we have plenty of time to talk whatever, I guess. So yeah, Rittenhouse fire. That was actually quite incredible to watch. Fantastic precedent in my opinion. Although now, of course, it's only really the beginning because, now you may well get the rioters who don't really understand the concept of justice and evidence and self-defense, or at least self-defense for people they don't like. In their own cases, they're all for self-defense. If it was one of their own people on trial here, 100%, they would be rejoicing right now. Because such ideologues like that, they don't care about establishing justice, but winning. It's pure win and lose. It's constant warfare for them. They don't care about the truth. They simply don't. This is going to be a long journey, by the way. A few thousand blocks. But we can do that quickly. We can do that nice and quickly, I think. Thoughts on divine simplicity? I'm genuinely torn on it. Because on one hand, it intuitively makes sense that God is just absolute simple starting point of all reality and all that, so simple and not complex or anything, which I guess kind of plays on our modern evolutionary mindset in the West, even for Christians. On the other hand, like the objections given by, like, say, there's the super nutso, like, analytic philosophy objections, which I don't really cover myself, but the orthodox objections make a good point, where you got to reconcile the fact that Christians participate in God Himself, and yet it is also true in Scripture that God is that at least the Father in His essence is totally unknowable, and yet if God is just this one simple essence and that's it, then how do we participate in God? How do we participate in the divine natures? So I kind of lean against it. Nothing definitive yet, though, just because it's not really an area I'm reading right now. I think the concern for philosophy for many people is far too overblown. All that really, like, the stuff that really matters is establishing there is a God. He sent down Christ. Christ died and rose again and all that. And then we can sort out all the other details later, because, like, obviously those details do matter on a philosophical, logical level. Sorting out those details is is important, but it's not an end of the world scenario, really. So I don't really pay too much heed for it as a history guy myself. Like, I personally just care about what's, like, real and concrete, you know. So I really just try to stick with those for the most part. Obviously with due consideration for the philosophical questions, but only once it starts to get into the hyper abstract things, I kind of just zone out. Yeah. For me, philosophy, when it comes to discussion of religion and Christianity and all that, philosophy is beholden to history. You can come up with the most elaborate, sophisticated, self-contained, totally consistent philosophy that explains everything around you, or at least attempts to explain everything around you. But if history isn't on its side, it may as well not exist. Like, everything is at the mercy of history in the end about what is actually real in this world, what actually happens. And yes, I am absolutely committing some greatest turtle rights violations right here, because I want their, or not, they won't give me their shells. Okay, carry on. The orthodox divine simplicity is not absolute divine simplicity. Yeah, that's right, as articulated by Thomas Aquinas. Yeah. In a certain sense, God is simple. He's not a complex, composite being, but not. It can't be in the absolute sense. Otherwise, you've got a bit of problems with how the heck does he interact with creation and all that stuff. And I think it also makes the ortho essence and energy distinctions make perfect sense about how in Scripture God is portrayed as like, he's angry or he regrets and all that. Although then again, that may well be just interpretive anthropomorphisms, because, like, with the ancient world mindset, it's not like when you read how in the Old Testament, for example, where it says, "Oh, God delivered these guys into the Israelites' hands," or "God did this, God did that." They're not claiming, in a Western mindset, it sounds like they're saying, "Oh yeah, we saw this divine being just do this stuff, like, right in front of us." It's not that. In their worldview, it's a providence. It's a very providence and divine worldview. They'll interpret things which they know for a fact have totally natural causes, but they'll interpret them as being ultimately set in place by the gods themselves. So, God delivered the Philistines into the hands of Israel. They're not saying, "Oh, God literally just shot a beam and the Philistines surrendered." It's that, no, God arranged the circumstances of reality so that the Philistines were defeated. So it's an interpretive issue, and so in light of that, I guess God's emotions and all are more or less interpreted, and the sensible interpretations, of course. Israel does something bad, God strikes them down, God's angry. Very, very easy to infer that. But so that was big tangent there. But it does that. The essence energy distinction does well explain in Scripture how God interacts with creation and all that, and it's said that we are experiencing God Himself and all that. So it makes a lot of sense to me. So, but what does it mean that God's essence is his existence? What do you mean by that? I'm not 100% sure what you mean, but is that like a saying or something that what should we call that? Someone come up with, or I'm not totally sure. JHS, because if God was composed of metaphysical parts, let's say love, mercy, holiness, then those attributes would be ontologically prior to God, making God a contingent derivative being. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's very true. Which is why it's just much simpler just to say love, mercy, etc. are abstract descriptions of acted realities. Love isn't just an abstract quality that it assumes all the. Is Aristotle or Plato or both? I'm not sure, but basically that abstract qualities actually exist in some sense. And I mean, abstracts, strictly speaking, abstracts don't exist. Abstracts are like, I know probably the Aristotelians are probably ringing at me right now, or the Platonists, but I mean that's just my take. Like, abstracts, like by definition, just do not actually exist. They are intellectual descriptors of reality. So when we say love, what do we mean? Are we referring to some abstract essence of love that makes up some metaphysical part of God or reality? Or are we referring to the observed behaviors and stature of one person to another? I think it's quite clear it's the latter. It's a Thomist phrase. Okay. Divine simplicity also destroys the Euthyphro dilemma. I'd like to explain that to me. That's interesting. That's interesting. How it would destroy the Euthyphro dilemma. I mean, I just kind of take one of the horns, because like one of the horns is like, oh, but if something's good because the gods decide it, then it's arbitrary. I just kind of take that horn and just like, yeah, God decides it, and it's like how's it arbitrary? Because of course it assumes it doesn't take into account the stock standard reply being, of course, that it's not arbitrary. God actually has a set nature that he doesn't violate of himself. So yeah. Because the Euthyphro dilemma, don't forget, you gotta remember the Greek context. They're not talking about. I think I even remember the original text doesn't say does God do this or the gods. I think it's plural gods, but you got to remember that the Greek gods were very anthropomorphized. They're very human, very very human. So it makes sense that if they say if something's good because the gods decided, then it's totally arbitrary. Because yeah, I mean the gods in Greece and all, they were very very human. They were just humans with superpowers. So yeah. Okay, good. I remember this checkpoint. So I passed this village on my way. Whoops. Is that what F4 does? Huh. There you go. Didn't know that. East, southeast. I think I am continuing this way. Yes. Because I was going to remember the coordinates in my head. So it's around 1800. So it's around 800x and negative 1700y. That's where my home base is. So we're heading there right now. Shouldn't be too long. And somewhat recently, in this Minecraft world, I defeated the Ender Dragon for the first time. So it's actually 10 years of playing Minecraft. I've never defeated the Ender Dragon solo. Not because I couldn't. I just never bothered, because it's a bit of a mission to like activate the portal, get the Eyes of Ender and all that stuff. But I actually did it for the first time in solo. I've done it before, I think maybe twice now, with friends online, defeated the Ender Dragon, but I've never done it solo. Yeah, first attempt, and yeah, successful. So that was a pretty cool achievement. And then I lost all the XP from a stupid death. Ah, well. There are many ways to farm XP in this game. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do, I'm going to get back, I'm going to show you guys around the place. It's kind of cool. Then, because I actually have this really cool like temple kind of thing, on a temple looking thing on a hill. And for the sake of this stream, I'll probably decorate it with Christian stuff, so like crosses and that. That'll be cool. Because the dilemma posits a false dichotomy: either God arbitrarily renders X as good, or therefore, or X is good because God assumes God desires morality from His will, rather than good being his essence, nature versus will. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah, the way I articulate it, they're exactly right. The way I articulate it is simply that God, being the foundation of reality, he is simply like the archetype par excellence. He is the ultimate intelligence, the ultimate standard, just by default, So he's the default that if there's an ought, we ought to go towards. Yeah, and the ought, basically all morality and ought is predicated on: do you want long life? Do you want unity with God and all that stuff? In a way, I kind of espouse a sort of social contract form of morality, where ultimately morality is a giant, like moral truth is a giant social contract between God and man. Only instead, man doesn't get the right to say, "Nah, I don't agree with it," because then God punishes us. Because, well, why would he want a delinquent creation that doesn't partake in his nature? But ultimately, in a way, it is a giant social contract, where it's like because the ought is predicated on a certain end. If you want salvation, if you want eternal life, if you want participation with God, in harmony with him, peace, order, and all that, then you ought to do this, 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 and this, and so on and so forth. God is the norm that norms all norms. That's right. That's right. Ooh, that was a close call. Okay, I'm not too far now. That's easy, cool. So I'm going to go north for a little bit longer. Then I'm going to chuck a right, keep heading east. Love using that. Well, the reason why I'm pulling up that debug menu is because they got the coordinates around the middle top left. Yeah, so I can just read those, see where I am. But yeah, people, let's keep the discussion up. It's just me and JHS right now. Everyone, people, comment. Tell us about your day. Give questions. Give discussion points. It's awesome stuff. Let's hear it. I've got a small laundry list of things I'll talk about as we go on, but oh, sweet, awesome! I've got a parcel coming today. But yeah, people, let's talk. Everyone, get in that chat. It's a wholesome atmosphere here. I'll whatever I'm thinking in my head right now, I'll bring up those discussion points as we go on. If there's continued silence. But yeah, I've ordered like a ton of stuff, a ton of books really, recently because of some decent pay I've got recently from a little bit of work I got. JHS, I would have to disagree because that assumes the moral order is dependent upon human preference. A human can self-destructively prefer rejecting God, but he is still objectively wrong for doing it. And I'd agree with that. Here's the thing, I do agree with that still. Objectively wrong because God is like the basis of objective reality, and he's saying you ought to do this. Ultimately it's the person's, like, just in a strict literal sense, it is an individual person's call. Actually, no, I kind of take that back because I am of the reformed view because I don't believe that fallen man can by his own will accept God. So a little bit is different, but to point being, I agree. I do still agree with that because God is still the ultimate basis of objective morality. But he doesn't center his ought. How would I say it? His ought, well, is fundamentally based on because I said so, because I'm the foundation of reality and all that. But he also fundamentally roots it in: if you want long life, if you want unity in nature with me, then yeah, you do that. And then of course the others, now of course, maybe what I said could imply that if someone just rejects that, then God's just fine if they do whatever bad they want. But obviously not, because there's the other end. If you do this bad thing that I do not want, then I will punish you. So that still exists. So it's both and. It's a both and situation. There is a social contract involved, but it's got the enforcement of the objective foundation of the universe. But yeah, people, keep talking. Let's go. Come on. Another night time. Let's sleep. What is your opinion on men wearing hair long, says Andrew Bailey. Now, of course, I know I'm probably on thin ice with this because I can see your profile pic, Andrew. I'll say that I will personally straight up say, because like we want honesty, I want honesty. I'll personally say that if a man is wearing longer than shoulder length hair, it's questionable, at least. I'd say questionable. In fact, dare I say that just shouldn't be the case. Men shouldn't have hair longer than shoulder length, just because, well, quite simply, that's just how a woman has her hair. That's the nature of women to have long, beautiful hair like that, and I don't think men should have their hair like that. Of course, it's more culturally acceptable for men today to do it. Not necessarily. Well, I do think it's ultimately got some kind of root in the cultural androgyny, but how would I describe it? Christian, hello, how are you? My favorite Lutheran. One of my favorite Lutherans. Nah, my favorite Lutheran because he's a fan. I won't say Dr. Jordan B. Cooper until he's on my streams commenting with us. But yeah, I genuinely don't think longer than shoulder length hair is appropriate for men. That's just my frank, honest take. If you think otherwise, first, how dare you? Second, I'm not gonna split hairs over it. Pun very much intended. But yeah, that's my opinion of men with long hair. Now, of course, this kind of relates to the biblical debate. It's related to the biblical debate of what does Paul mean by long hair. So when Paul says in 1 Corinthians 14, I forgot exactly what he mentions. No, not 1 Corinthians 14, 1 Corinthians 11. Chapter 11. My mind is blank. What did he say? Basically, long hair is a woman's glory. And I think he mentioned that it's just stupid for men to have long hair because of that. But a lot of people like to say, oh, it's bad because men normally have long hair, blah, 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 and all that. And a lot of people, the problem is that a lot of people define long hair today, at least the way a lot of normie evangelicals think of it in that passage. They think long hair means like down to your chin or to your neck. But at least from what I've seen, like even with archaeological evidence, that wasn't considered long hair per se. Long hair was like below shoulder length, even down to like the waist. Like women had really, really, really long hair back then. So that was natural for them. Yeah. So people kind of misinterpret that quite a bit. Dr. Cooper, who took me out of Church of Christ into Lutheranism. Hey, there you go. I wouldn't mind meeting him myself one day. That'd be pretty cool. He probably wouldn't like that I'm a big fan of Pastor Douglas Wilson. Oh man, which is sad. It's sad. Somewhat tangential, but I think how would I describe it? Oh, yeah, I'm going the right direction still. Dr. Cooper way too easily falls for, how would I say it, misinformation, sometimes outright lies about Pastor Wilson. Because there's all these issues that have been going for a long time about how he allegedly mishandled cases of sexual abuse and even a case of a pedophile in his church and all that. And how he'd even, like, I don't know, cover up or even support kind of like emotional abuse of women, like keeping them suppressed and all that because of patriarchy and stuff like that. And from the few of those cases I've actually looked into deeply, at best it's muddy. At best it's a muddy case, and at worst they just straight up fabricate things. And unfortunately, I think Pastor Cooper falls for those things far too easily. Far too easily. Matt Bell says no court in November. Hell yeah. No court in November is awesome. Introduced me into a church history from a Protestant perspective. Yeah, he's fantastic for that stuff. He really is fantastic. Just as simple as when you go reading, his thing is so simple. Just when you go reading the church fathers, don't assume as a given Roman Catholic concepts of key or understandings of key concepts like bishop, Eucharist, apostolic succession, or you don't, because if you assume the Catholic definition, the modern Roman Catholic definition of those things as you read the church fathers, yeah, you're going to become a Catholic. That's how so many people come. Oh, is that a shipwreck? No way. I'm going to explore that. That's how so many people become Roman Catholic today, because they never heard of church fathers. They get Catholics talking into their ear, basically establishing the definition in their mind of what all these major concepts mean. And then once they read, oh look, Ignatius says Eucharist, oh therefore Catholic, and that's basically how it happens, which is just unfortunate. It shouldn't happen like that. It's sad. I love Dr. Cooper and Dr. Gavin Ortland. Oh yeah, I love Dr. Gavin as well. He's the same that way. He's really good. He's not, because like he emphasizes the ironic, very peaceable approach in his own words, but he does so. He does it in a way that so few people can, where they don't conflate ironic with being like a pushover, you know, and just being agreeable. Because when he gets to his points in his videos where he's trying to emphasize this contradicts Roman Catholicism or the Eastern Orthodox Church, and he's very emphatic. He's very, very emphatic and stands by his points and argues them quite vigorously, even though he's very, very wholesome in his voice. So he's fantastic that way. There we are. Let's see if there's anything else. Ooh, okay, some lapis and some iron. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, it's alright. Not the worst find. Pogoretsky, hello. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Too long. Woo. How many people have got the chat in, actually? Oh, far out. We've got 8 viewers, or 9. Far out. Not bad at all, because for some reason my my YouTube live counter is kind of funky. It doesn't exactly show an accurate number. There we go. 8. Hang on. Let me turn it back. Actually, no. I'll keep it like that. And let's turn down the quality of my phone stream so I don't chug up the internet. Sweet, good to see you here, man. Good to see all the usual faces here today. It's awesome, awesome stuff. And loving the sub boost that I recently got from my meme of Dr. David A. Falk regarding the Exodus has been debunked. It's a good meme, very good meme. Oh man, I'm proud of it. And he shared it, or maybe his, because it talked in the third person in the post, so I think maybe his wife or something posted it on his page. Shared my meme, and now I think it's like my third most viewed video on my channel. Oh man. Ever read William Paley? Nah, not really. I think I've got his Natural Theology in my. Actually, I do. Hang on, where is it? Yeah, I do. I've got it right down there. I've got his Natural Theology right there. I think I got it from my college library. They were doing like a free book giveaway. Yeah, I haven't read it. All I really know is the argument of you find a watch in the forest and you clearly infer it's designed, and thus we should do the same with nature and all that. I've heard a couple of more sophisticated atheist objections to it, and they do kind of help to qualify the use of the argument, but I don't think they get rid of it ultimately. I honestly believe, watch that vid at least 10 times, says Bogoretsky. Oh man, me too, man. I watch. His laugh is just incredible. When I was watching his response to Inspiring Philosophy, and then to see that laugh, I just started losing it myself. And I just knew from then on, I have to make a meme from this. I honestly, or Christian says, I honestly believe that a large part of the Roman Catholic apologetic is merely psychological. Look up right now, or whenever you can, my mate's channel, A Goy for Jesus. So I've done collabs with him. I did one very recently too. So A Goy for Jesus. He has a video called The Psychology of Catholic Converts. That's exactly what you're talking about here. It's mostly going over the converts themselves, but it shows what psychological processes go into them becoming Roman Catholic. And it's not strictly evidential. Oh, hang on. Whoa. I'm going the wrong way. Oh dear, I've been going the wrong way. That's all good. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna... I'm going to keep heading north for a bit until I hit the right mark, and then I can just head dead east. Out of the way. Might talk about a little, like, brief bit of an atheist response video I once saw, or I saw last night rather, and it's quite the epitome of just how atheists or atheist apologists do history with respect to the Gospels and all that stuff. But I'll talk about that in a second. Rodder Gang RDX 2070 exposed. That's right. I've got myself some decent hardware. Not the greatest, but not too shabby either. That's right. I got an RTX 2070 Super. So not a 2070 Super. So it's even better. Christian says they know that many contemporary evangelicals are utterly illiterate, historically speaking, so they expose them to the fathers using Catholic terminology, and Protestants feel overwhelmed by it. Exactly what I mentioned earlier. Yeah, exactly. That's precisely what they do. It's that meme. I think I posted it kind of recently, and it's like it's one of those Doge versus Cheems memes. It's too much to explain. Maybe I'll post it again later. Yeah. And Pogoretsky says, I read Paley's work, A View on the Evidences of Christianity. More evidential apologetics of the short, but it is very excellent, although Old English can be a trudge. Yeah, what can you do? It's a higher form of English. I personally want to... Well, not Old English. Technically not Old English. It's early modern English. So Old English, we're talking like early Middle Ages, maybe even before that. Yeah, early Middle Ages, which is like incomprehensible today. Good processor, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mentioned briefly, I saw, like, it was just randomly recommended it to me, probably because of my David Falk meme, and they did, like, a little short thing of David Falk on how he responded to inspiring philosophy. This kind of atheist apologetic channel, I think it's called Cam and Camel or something like that, and they did this, and one of those guys did, like, this long response video to a video by Testify, that YouTube channel, about the authorship of Matthew's Gospel, and... The main thing I watched in that was how he addressed the argument from Christian apologists. So the stock standard atheist objection is that the gospel authors were not the eyewitness apostles because they write in the third person. That's the standard objection. And then Testify mentions, well, actually, many ancient historians refer to themselves in the third person in their own works, which is entirely true, and that bunks that entire argument. I think the guy in that video acknowledges that the way Bart Ehrman put that argument is poor. So then he tries to steelman it, present a better version by showing quotes from the major ancient historians, many of the major ancient historians. So Herodotus, Thucydides, Tacitus, Plutarch, Suetonius, Josephus, and all that. How, although they mention themselves in the third person, they either say in their work that this is the work of this guy, so naming themselves but in the third person, or they do at some point talk about themselves witnessing something in the first person, at least at some point in their work. And then he says, the Gospel of Matthew does neither of these things, and there's absolutely no reason why he wouldn't have done those things, therefore Matthew didn't write the Gospel, which is just like stock standard sterile conjecture where the unbeliever, scholar, or apologist, or whoever, they'll take the descriptive norm of reality, or at least portions of it, and then make that somehow a prescriptive rule, so that if the Gospels doesn't follow it, therefore it wasn't written by an eyewitness author, or therefore it's not reliable, and so on and so forth. So in this case, he's conflating the descriptive with the prescriptive. So it's a descriptive reality that many ancient historians who otherwise refer to themselves in the third person will in some way or another identify themselves, at least perhaps once in their work. So the guy takes that as a prescriptive rule that Matthew could not have had a reason to not do that, to identify himself directly as an eyewitness, and therefore he didn't write it, which is just... It's just absolutely silly. Because now he's trying to he claims absolute knowledge. He even used the word, absolutely no reason. So he claimed absolute knowledge, implicitly, about that Matthew could not have had any other reason to not either say I witnessed these things or this book was written by Matthew, which is of course silly because one, he cherry picks the evidence quite heavily. As far as I'm aware, so in one of his quotes examples, he quotes from Tacitus how in one of his sections he says, "Oh, I saw this and my father-in-law said that," or something like that. But notice, I never saw that quote. God willing, my memory's serving me correctly right now. Because I even remember from reading earlier that Tacitus never in his work says, even in the third person, that this is the work of Tacitus. Which is important because even if the author identifies himself in the first person in that Tacitus histories, if we're to go with the skeptical mindset, we could just say, oh, okay, so this author's claiming to have seen something, but it's not Tacitus. Where does it say that it is Tacitus? So it's an absolutely arbitrary standard. We know of the authorship of that Tacitus wrote his histories and his annals because of the testimonies of other people later on. Nowhere, as far as I've read, nowhere does he identify himself in the work. So we have to rely on that external testimony, and apparently that external testimony is ironclad. But as soon as we get a church father saying, "Oh yeah, Matthew wrote his gospel," or "Oh yeah, John wrote his gospel," "Oh no, maximal scrutiny." It's pathetically inconsistent. So TLDR, he takes a descriptive reality of what ancient authors often do. He doesn't demonstrate that it's universal, that every single ancient historian identified himself in the third or first person. So he doesn't show that. He just shows that it's very common. So he does that, and he conflates that descriptive reality as a prescriptive rule. And it's important because it's very easy to imagine why Matthew might not have directly named himself as the author of his gospel, whether in the first or the third person. Easy reason to think of is the fact that the Christian community is very tight-knit, very orally structured, as well, given that they're a branch off of the Jewish culture. Very easy to consider that, as it's almost certain that Matthew is writing for a Jewish audience, that he can simply he writes his gospel, he dispenses of it, and he or other people who are sending it out to the first audiences, they're like, hey, this is written by Matthew. This is the account of the gospel of Jesus. And either that information is communicated purely orally, or, as we also know from ancient history, there's tags on the scroll identifying the author. So that helps, even if the author isn't named in the body of the work itself. So either of those are very reasonable possibilities. There's no reason to deny them. There's no evidence against them. So all of that just to say, oh, Matthew ought to have named himself in his gospel as the author of the work is just utterly sterile conjecture. It's silly. It's pathetic. Sounds like a pop historian. I think he even admits in the channel, we are amateur historians or whatever. We're not experts. So take our hint with a grain of skepticism. That's what they said in their channel description, which I respect. And I'm not a credentialist, so I don't judge people by, oh, they don't have a degree, therefore their opinion's not worth. I'll hear if anyone can make a reasonable argument from evidence, I'll listen to it. I don't care what their degrees are or lack thereof. But he does come off as a little bit of a pop historian. He makes many claims and all that. He has a very simplistic view of literature in that respect. Very, very simplistic. Yeah, pretty much that. What should we call it? Yeah, pretty much that. But he also said, but the funnier bit to me was when he, oh my god, I just overshot again. I overshot by like thousands. You know, stuff, and I'm gonna start heading north. I don't care. Because I'm just so enthralled in my discussion that I just lose track of what I'm doing. The funny thing, though, is that he brought up the examples that Christian apologists do also bring up, and that is Caesar in his commentaries and Xenophon's Anabasis, which... I forgot the exact events it recounts. It recounts the civil war between Artaxerxes III, I want to say, and Cyrus the Younger. But they're easy examples that Christian apologists bring up because they never once identify themselves in the first person, or say that Xenophon or Caesar wrote these commentaries. They don't mention that. So he addresses them by going on a long spiel about how Xenophon He didn't want to identify himself because he wanted to avoid unnecessary flattery and all that stuff. There's evidence that it was a pen name of his and all that. So, okay, cool. And then with Caesar's commentaries, he says, "Oh, it's likely a development from a sort of type of document that would basically account finances to the Roman state." So authors identifying themselves directly isn't strictly necessary. So he basically gives the likely reasons why they didn't directly identify themselves, but then he says in response to that, in light of the Gospel of Matthew, do any of those reasons apply to Matthew? No, they don't. Therefore, it's silly to apply to them. But hang on a step. Like, for one, Christian apologists don't apply to those examples by saying the exact reasons. We don't say that the exact reasons Caesar and Xenophon didn't identify themselves were the exact same reasons as Matthew didn't identify themselves or other gospel authors. But we're appealing to the simple fact that they don't identify themselves. It's the forest. He's missing the forest through the trees. It's a fact. They don't identify themselves in the text as the authors at all. It's a simple fact. And so he says that, those reasons don't apply to Matthew, therefore that doesn't count. It's not a proof that Matthew wouldn't identify himself. But hang on, it actually shows that authors could come up with some number of reasons to not identify themselves. So if you can afford that charity to them, why can't you afford that charity to Matthew? I could easily speculate, very reasonable speculation, that, for example, Matthew wasn't concerned with writing history for history's sake, to say, oh, look, I witnessed this thing. And again, the reality of oral culture, it's very, very easy to imagine that it was simply common oral information, or even in the tags of the scrolls, that Matthew was written by Matthew. But also, I could easily imagine that Matthew wouldn't want to say, hey, I saw this stuff, because he wanted to maximize the attention on Jesus Christ and on the prophecies he fulfilled and so on and so on. This is all speculation, but it's reasonable speculation. There's no reason against it, because that's exactly what these atheist apologists do, even the more sophisticated ones. They ultimately rely on major speculation. To say that the gospel authors, for example, have no reason to not identify themselves is huge speculation into their mindset, into their ideas, and it assumes that your criteria of what is acceptable circumstances to not identify yourself, he's assuming that they share those exact same criteria. It's freaking silly, absolutely silly. Anyway, that's my brief take on it. I feel like it's good for me to talk about and critique these things kind of publicly with other people, because it kind of helps me. Where am I even going? I'm lost. Okay, I'm not lost. I'm just going in random directions now. But what's the time now? Fire, it's 9:51 already. Not the best episode, people. I apologize for that. Well, yeah, the world just died on me out of nowhere, and my impassioned speech is it gets me lost very quickly. What the heck was that? Oh, it's a parrot. Nice. So I'm gonna keep on going this way. But yeah, I think it's good for me to get stuff like that off my chest, because I actually did almost deconvert because of very high level. I wanted to find the best of the best, basically the best atheistic academia against gospel authorship, against gospel reality. I almost deconverted because of that. But then I learned to actually consistently critique them along with Christian, be consistent, because they give the air of we're the objective ones, and the Christian apologists are just rah-rah. They just want to make stuff up. They want to twist facts and all that. But then when I consistently applied critical thinking to them, as I did to Christian apologists, their arguments just fell apart. And this is another example. Nonetheless, I will be honest. Every now and then, when I encounter a well-read, sophisticated unbeliever who articulates arguments against biblical reliability and all that, every now and then my heart kind of goes do 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 for no reason, even before I've even heard the fullness of their argument. And then afterwards, to myself, I can just rationally dispatch of it. But my heart just kind of goes do 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 do, because I did have that near deconversion experience, which really, really affected me. So yeah, it can be difficult sometimes to watch, but then once I calm my heart down, it's just okay, let's look at it rationally. Are they right? Are they wrong? And 99% of the time, they're wrong. Of course, being objective, they do sometimes make fair points. Sometimes Christian apologists make some really spectacular errors, and they point them out. Sometimes they even point out facts that do cause us to qualify our beliefs and all that. That's happened with me. I'm more than willing to change my belief on the evidence. I follow the evidence wherever it leads, with good reasoning. And unfortunately, that video, or at least a big portion of it, I watched specifically on the use of other authors, was pretty pathetic, in my opinion. Not to unnecessarily disrespect the guy, but he does like to throw shade at apologists. Like, oh, look, apologists this, apologists that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Still even going southeast, bloody hell. Okay. So I'm going to hit 800 on the X coordinate. Then once I hit that, I'm going to start heading north again. And then I'll be home. Ooh. Hello. That is a pillager outpost. I think ancient writers would have said something like, God is the important one here, not me. Yeah, exactly. And I think you even made that comment before I even mentioned that. Matthew's potential priorities. Yeah, 100%. It's very easy to imagine that. Yeah, simple as that. Well, sure, there are things that simply to rhetoric, catechesis, or street-level apologetics, blah, blah, blah. Rhetoric and beautiful speech is an amazing part of the reading experience. There you are, buddy. Come at it. That's right, mate. Sit down. I have a tendency to feel insecure about my own arguments and convictions, even if objectively my reasoning is sufficient. And the converse applies as well. I often feel rattled by the simplest objections, even if in comparison their whole argument is weaker. Yeah, bro, that's... Yeah, like maybe not to that extent, but like that when I encounter the more sophisticated unbeliever arguments, that can kind of happen with me. But it all feels better when I'm around like other good, well-thinking Christians. And when we address it all together, that makes me... It gets rid of all anxieties I might have. When other well-read, sophisticated Christians, when we respond together, it's much easier. So that's the tip. If you want to go into apologetics, do it together. Team up with other very well-read Christian apologists and scholars. Seriously, do try to get scholars, especially those like specialize in classics, ancient history, biblical archaeology, all that stuff. But yeah, it's absolutely true what you mentioned. Absolutely true. Anyway, it gives me confidence because like, I knew this channel in particular. They're involved in the more sophisticated side of atheist apologetics against the scriptures. And to see that argument coming from them, like, well, it gives me confidence in our case. Oh, hello. A nether portal. But yeah, so you guys are going to really like my setup of my home base. So I've got a nice house in a village. I've personally expanded the village myself. And I've got this awesome like marble temple. Temple type structure. It's not actually going to be a temple. It's going to be might even make it somewhat of a church. Let's see what we've got in the chest. Oh, gold horse armor. Heck yeah, gold. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. I have so much gold armor in this game just because of all the chests and nether portals I found. It's actually hilarious. I almost who do you think is the most formidable atheist YouTuber? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch him much. I don't. Just because I spent so much bloody time with him already in my past that I'm not really interested in watching him anymore. And I've come to the firm convictions of like, ultimately, we're not just arguing about the particulars of our belief in reality, but the very fundamentals of worldview. So if I'm personally convinced in the Christian worldview and a Christian epistemology, then by default, the reasoning of unbelievers is just going to be inferior. So in my mind, and that's not to avoid challenge, of course. It's always good to get challenged, and I do that every now and then. I do read the sophisticated takes every now and then, and I want to more so in the future when I'm actually into like proper scholarship and all that, working with others and stuff, become an ardent defender of the faith. But I don't watch them much just because by default, I think their reasoning is inferior. Simple as that. Because we're talking about a basic worldview issue here, not merely the particulars of reality. And I see it vindicated time and time again when I see even the more sophisticated unbelievers. Sometimes they'll have decent points, and it causes me to think, and that's good. But very often they rely on faulty reasoning that's typical of naturalism. So yeah, that's my takeaway from it, generally speaking. Man, which way am I going? East, northeast. That's right, I'm supposed to be going south again. Oh man, that's annoying. Hang on. Okay, this way. Yep. I keep losing mind of where I'm going. Do I have a boat? Yes, I do. Alright, let's do it. I almost convert for Da Vinci Code, bruh. Evidence only takes you so far. The gaps left are filled in with presuppositions. I like to think about how atheists can't explain where time, laws of logic, matter, energy, etc. came from, but we can. Yeah. Of course, they'll accuse us of saying, "Oh, God did it," and I'll just say, "Well, yeah. What else could it be?" Joke, of course. Woo, thank God. Thank God. Okay, we're at the 800 mark. So that means I can start going this way. I just got to go down this way for around 1,400 blocks and I'll be home. I think this might be the same body of water too. I've got an event in the city today. So I'm thinking I might go for another... Jeez, I might be pushing it. Again, unforeseen circumstances. The world just decided to poop its pants. So this episode being mostly just a road trip, pretty much, with decent discussion. So I might finish up around half an hour from now. But that should be plenty of time for me to show around my new home base in this world. So that'll be good. That'll be very good. But yeah, the discussion's been great. It's been really, really good. Oh yes, books I've got coming in, I remember. So I've got a few. I've got Irenaeus Against Heresies paperback coming in, because like I know you can get almost all of it online. You can get it online, but I personally just want to get hard copy editions of everything. I prefer physical books to the digital. I only use the digital when necessary, when I need to quickly look up something. But otherwise I want a hardcover. I want a proper library. So recently, Irenaeus' demonstration of the apostolic preaching came in, and so far now I've got Irenaeus Against Heresies and Melito of Sardis' Petty Pascha coming in. Those are both coming in, and then of course as well, I've got a guide to the historical method by Father Gilbert Garrigan coming in, which is really basically a really solid, from what I've heard, really solid primer on the historical method, and I think it's going to be a perfect resource for me to use for teaching, for classes. And it comes in like a proper hardcover, like fabric hardcover, and it actually looks really nice. So I can't wait for that to come in. Yes, also Dr. David Fawkes' The Ark of the Covenant in its historical context, the Ark of the Covenant in its Egyptian context, an illustrated journey. I've got that coming in from Dr. David Falk. And by the way, mini announcement. You guys are the first to hear this. I recently contacted Dr. Falk, and we are shooting for an interview on my channel next month in December. So I know, all the applause. Give me all the applause. I know it's going to be awesome. Get excited. Get very excited. It is going to be great. Silhouette Films. Hey, Silhouette, mate. Good to see ya. You heard anything about Rittenhouse? Heard anything? Bruh, I watched it live. That was... Oh, okay. I rewound a couple of minutes after I found the stream, but it was awesome. So good. Actual justice. Actual justice was served today. But yeah, this is the village I'm at, boys and girls. Crap. Now I've just got to survive the night. Should be easy for me because I'm a little bit op. But yeah, that's happening, folks. I'm interviewing Dr. David Falk, and it's going to be a pretty educational one. So it's not going to be apologetic per se. I'll raise relevant issues of that, but otherwise, it's going to be like a primer interview kind of Falk explaining like basics of the historical method, how to interpret archaeological data, and then I'm gonna show him some like case studies of like Egyptian texts and Egyptian archaeology where he can show people how to apply those principles. Then we'll have a Q&A and a little surprise at the end. But yeah, it's going to be great. You really do not want to miss that. None of you want to miss that. Anyway, this is the village. This is where I am. This is my home. It's very idyllic. It's very, very nice. I've added a few extra things for extra village. Oh, that's a creeper. Knockback is an essential enchantment for fighting creepers. Get rid of. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. Set yourselves up for December, people. It's going to be great. And I intend to use that stream. I intend to, for when I'm in teaching in the future, I intend to send my students to that stream to help them, like, really internalize and apply the historical method with the words of an Egyptologist. So it's going to be awesome. But yeah, this is my place, people. This is my house. Very nice house. Very idyllic. That's like a big guard tower / barracks I'm still building. Very nice little house in a nice village overlooking this very nice village. Little minecart system going down to the bottom of the basin here, with a fat sweetberry farm. Because sweetberries, you can make a ton of emeralds off butcher villages with sweetberries. A lot of stuff. And this is my trash. If I have any trash, just throw it in here. Little underground area with a couple of rooms, although I'm not using it much. Sugarcane farm, potato farm up there. What else? Got the wheat farm down here, actually. So you got like a nice little natural wheat field over here. And if you look in the oh, actually, I'll turn up my render distance. Oh, thank God. I only turned it down a bit because like 1.18 can be an absolute lag fest. And I think they might have fixed that. All right, one more time. Yep, cool. All right, if you look in the distance up on that hill, look at that. You like that? Hope you guys like that. Still in construction. I'm still going to put like another layer on top for the roof. But yeah, that's my building. It's beautiful. Hope you guys like that. Might even go take a look at it now. I'm just going to put away some stuff. And then we're going to go take a look at that building. And I'll give you like a basic tour. There's not much to it yet. But yeah, I'll give you a little tour. It's very, very nice little structure I've got. And in coming episodes, I'll make it a mini church. Why not? Why not? Oh yes, merchandise. Let's put my emerald in here. Oh yeah, 2 totems of undying. I'm an absolute legend. Yep. Horse armor. Oh, where did I put the gold armor? Whoops. But yeah, that entire building is made of marble. I'm sorry, quartz in the game. Which, if you know about it, it's not easy to get, because for one, you've got to mine it in the Nether. But you can also buy it from stonecutter villages. So I've got these 3 stonecutters right here, and I can buy blocks of quartz from them. So now I'm going to take a journey down to my hilltop palace. Oh, how beautiful is that? Look at that. It's just so grand because it's like overlooking everything, you know. It's a real seat of authority. And I've got I'll probably build like a pathway going down here, but I've got a bridge going across the river there. And then from that bridge, there's a proper pathway, beaten pathway, up to the palace. But yeah, Australia Post told me one of my packages is coming in today. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm hoping it's Peri Pasca, because I'm going to actually use that most likely for my first historical vid coming up on the Quarter-Deciman controversy. So yeah, nice little beaten path with like little lanterns lighting up the way. It's very nice at nighttime. I'm probably going to plant more trees to kind of make it a little bit more dense, give that kind of like homey, beaten trail feel from the Lord of the Rings. But here we are. Ignore the construction site right there. But yeah, this is what I got so far. My torchment placement's a bit crude right now. I'm just trying to keep it lit up. But yeah, this is it right now. Nice pillared interior, like a nice palace. Then we got the upstairs, and it's raining, of course. This is, of course, going to be covered up. These walls are going to extend to the full height. They're basically going to be like an entryway hall into here, into this big main room here. Probably, I'm not sure what I'm going to make it fully. I might make it like a treasure room or something. But yeah, that's my palace. Did you know that in Latvia, the lawmakers, 63 out of 100, voted to prohibit unvaccinated lawmakers from voting on any further? That's messed up. What the heck? I did hear of Latvia going utterly messed up, like really, really bad with their policy, but that far out. I mean, I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Though, when were they a communist country? Barely 30 years ago now. Far out. It's like when countries want to say, "Oh, we're for democracy and the people's vote this and that," but then they start doing that, restricting who can vote because of a medical decision among all things. You know they're full of crap. Whether they know it or not, they're liars. They're liars and subverters. So, yeah, I'd say I'm angry, but I'm just not really too surprised, if I'm honest. It's so common today that, I mean, what can you do? What can you really do? The worst part, I told this to 2 of my co-workers today, and they celebrated saying, good, they should get vaccinated. Stuff those people. Stuff anyone who actually says that. Like, they genuinely do not know what precedent they're setting with statements like that. When they're supporting bullcrap like that. It's just evil. It's just straight up evil. Oh, well. But yeah. This is my nice old palace. So I think to kind of burn time now, I'll head back. I'm probably gonna get some gold blocks and then just build like a fat cross. Because I've got a lot of blocks of gold, I'll tell you that. And yeah, sort out my resources that I got so far. Basically prep for next episode when stuff can properly begin again. Because I was forced to make a hard reset. Awesome palace, by the way. Thank you very much, mate. Interestingly, one of those co-workers is originally from Argentina. Argentina, not Augusto Pinochet. That was Chile. Do I have sand in here? No, I don't. Need to store it somewhere. And that's my brewing stand. I need to add beer to Minecraft. I should so add beer. That'd be awesome. That'd be so awesome. Okay. No, okay. Just chuck some stuff in. I'm gonna get my gold blocks. The first floor looks like that GoldenEye temple map. Anyone remember that? I never played GoldenEye. Can't relate. So yeah. One might say that I'm a little bit loaded. Do you enjoy the occasional brewski? Oh, do I? Oh, do I? In fact, I might even have a brewski today after the event I'm going to. That's why my brother actually has some in the fridge. He said I can pull some out if I want. I still haven't touched it yet. But yes, I do love the brewski. Torch. Turned to an adult this past week. Already stressed. Hey, congratulations, man. That's great. That's great stuff. Adult. Far out. That's crazy. I love having a young audience. Darn, man. If it was in the right place in the right time, I could have been your school teacher. Now let's go to sleep. Get out, mate. Silhouette Film says, did you know that in Poland, after a vote in the Polish Parliament in April 2016, our Lord Jesus Christ was officially crowned the King of Poland? Yes, I do know that. That was absolutely based. Utterly bespoke. And, I mean, really, putting it technically speaking, it's not that they made him king over Poland. They just recognized him, because he's king over all. All authority in heaven and earth has been given to him. But they just recognize it. It's great. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely solid move by the Polish government. Yeah. I was voted a CEO of racism in my high school. Was this at like one of those what you call prom? Was this like at the prom where they do like the awards for like best this or most that, and you got you got the CEO of racism. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. I love that. Oh, man. Hey, I disavow racism for any normies watching. I totally disavow it. This is something known as a meme. And the humor of a meme, or in fact, humor in general, why humor works is because it proposes totally absurd things which people do not normally accept as good and normal. That's why it is funny. Because racism is bad. Racism is very, very bad. And that's why it's funny when someone is elected the CEO of racism. Oh, man. Oh, man. It's such a throwback. Those memes have been going for a while now. Just such a throwback of like, hey, I'm calling the CEO of racism. Yeah, look at me. I'm doing my part. Thank you for clarifying. I mean, I don't need to. The sad thing is that in a normal human society, I wouldn't have to. People would just know intuitively, oh, the guy's having a yarn. But of course, with our society, with the mob out there trying to destroy as many opponents as possible, you can't take that risk, unfortunately. So, yeah. Oh, this sucks because, that's not quite... Yeah, because it's an even number of blocks, so the center blocks are 2 blocks, not 1. I can't make like a thick 2-block wide cross, or can I? Or could I make... Maybe I can make a sepulcher. You know what? Let me look it up really briefly. Cross. I could make that. Do I have enough blocks for it? I think I do. Hang on. That's 20. Oh, I might not. Oh, darn, I might not have enough blocks for that. Let's give it a try. Hey, the other Paul, I really like your vids. Thanks very much, man. I appreciate it. Oh, that won't work either because there'll be center blocks still. You know, I might just do a 2-block wide cross. Why not? Yeah, thanks, man. I'm glad you enjoy them. More's coming. A lot more's coming. Since my college is done now, I can get started on my intended semi-regular educational videos. Missing weekly Christendom. Christendom weekly. Yes. Two reasons. One, college. So that basically put everything to a halt for a while. But also because there just really wasn't a whole ton happening. So I kind of put it on the back burner for a while. Yep, I think that's right. Yeah, this works. Okay. But yeah, that will be coming back, especially with more stuff happening now in Australia. I'll probably even start next week. Why not? Although next week is going to be my intended release for the quarter decimate controversy. Tomatoes. But yeah, I could probably bring it back then. Oh, look at that. Wholesome. How wholesome. Let's get the pixels exactly straight. Let's get it exactly straight. Yeah, good enough. Sweet. Awesome. You're lucky I'm still working college stuff, lol. Yeah. Pogoretsky. Haven't even started college, lol, although I have started some classes along with high school. Nice. Good on you. Don't, or just general advice for anyone. If you don't feel like, don't just go to college or university just because it's the default. It shouldn't be the default. The default should be a trade. Trade, some practical skill. And only if you see, you know what, I'm really good at this. I could make a career off it. But it requires like specialized college, university education or accreditation. Then go for it. Yeah, that's great. That's what I figured myself. I kind of went into the illusion of, default for college. So that's kind of what I did. But I did eventually end up realizing, hey, my area is theology, history, and then eventually teaching. So then I actually had a purpose for my college work, and soon it shall be paying dividends, God willing. But yeah, very nice structure I have there. Very nice structure. What now? What do I do now before we finish up today's episode? Pogoretsky, I have a full ride to 2 university options that contain my field of study and am taking advantage of those. Good on you. Hey, good on you. Very good. Minecraft soundtrack is just something else. Especially all the original songs released by C418. Far out. That's a throwback. And even this newer stuff is really, really nice. Very nice little. Actually, no. I'll show you guys my enchanting room in the great tower over there, which is still incomplete. Alright, I made the mistake of not bringing up water, and now my throat's parched. Should need to harvest those potatoes soon. OMG, I saw your ginger doppelganger at work today and it freaked me out. Oh, for God's sake, Ginger, are you serious? You bring shame upon me by mentioning that. Oh man, nah, that's funny. That's funny. Ginger doppelganger, what are that? I don't like my ginger doppelganger. Just imagining it in my head. I don't like that. But anyway, here we go. We've got my enchanting table, room, thing. All these spare books I have, just enchantments I've made over time. Yeah, this is the room. I can upgrade to max enchantments with this. I think, yeah, I can. I remember looking it up. Got to have max you can do is like 15 bookshelves, and this is more than that. So yay. I think if I have any spare leather. Speak of the devil. There we go. And I think I have more leather. So what I'll probably do is I'll harvest some sugarcane, get some paper, make some books, and get enchanting. Because I want to get some really, really high tier enchantments. Have you heard of Josh Who TV? No? Who's that? Never heard of him. No paper. All good. Out of the way, cleric. Out of the way, you dumb priest. He's not a Christian priest, so it's not an insult. Don't no one take that seriously. Oh yeah, you guys. I don't think I've shown you guys the shirt I'm wearing. Actually, it's actually a birthday present from a friend. Beppis, or I prefer to call it Beepus, but friggin' it's an absolute meme. It's a big meme. Beepus is a huge meme in my friends group, especially after a certain incident which I won't go into. But basically, spin-off of like Pepsi, and it's just a retarded spelling of Pepsi. And I became hugely associated with it in my friends group, and and then on my recent birthday, on my 22nd, they a few of them chipped in to get me a Beepus shirt. Oh, best gift ever, and I'm wearing it today to the significant event that's happening. That significant event, by the way, is actually the big protest in the Sydney CBD today. Thousands of people are going to come, basically protest against all the COVID measures, the vaccine mandates, and all that. The government's slowly buckling. The government is actually slowly buckling. Even our own Prime Minister is now calling off against the vaccine mandates. It's really they're starting to buckle. To the point where even the utter dictator health minister we have, Brad Hazard, who was just unequivocally cracking down on protests and all that, and they kept going on anyway, he gave a little edict a few days ago, basically permitting the unvaccinated to attend the protests. Oh, just as long as they observe the current regulations. And everyone just had a massive laugh because it's showing that the New South Wales government's buckling. They cave into pressure. But also, everyone just said, "We don't need your authority, mate. We're going to go anyway. We don't care." Like literally, this was happening. This was happening without any mind for the government's permission. It was based. Yum, Beepus good? Yes, Beepus very good. Haha, yes, Beepus. What tastes better, Beepus or Keko? It's Keko or Conk? I think it's Conk. You see, Beepus is better than Conk. Much better than Conk. It was the shirt I showed. Sorry, I did show this shirt on the channel. I posted a meme of myself when it's like POV, you're one keystroke away from posting heresy, and then it's just me in like an absolute Zoolander pose with the Beepus shirt. Anyway, let's enchant. Am I committing witchcraft by doing this? Is this witchcraft? Oh well. Oh, quick charge shield. That's a very good enchantment. Soaping edge through. Ooh, hello. Fire aspect 1. Yeah, these are alright. Not bad. Beepus is love. Beepus is life. Straight facts. Straight facts. I only like root beer. I don't think I've even had root beer. I have real beer. I love my real beer. Oh man, when was the last time I've been to that? Actually, no, I went to the pub recently. Yeah, well, cafe, restaurant. Although I haven't been to my local pub for a very, very long time, unfortunately. S'mores with mustard. S'mores with mustard? That sounds disgusting, bro. Ew. Ew. I'm sorry, but ew. I mean, to be fair, I've been a picky eater since I could first remember. But even if I assumed normal eating habits, that Progressy says it slaps, so I'm gonna slap you. Jokes, I love you. If I slap you, it'll be out of love. I slap my boys out of love. Andrew Bailey says, not poggers. Agree, that is not pog in any way, shape, or form. I think there needs to be an ecclesiastical canon against that. Yes, merchandise. Let's dump this in here. I do have some paper. Okay, so this is my current private world, which is now going to become upon this block. And oh, look at that! You can even see the cross peeking out. How cool is that? How cool! But yeah, my private world now the new upon this block pilot season world. Well, because yeah, circumstances. But I'm thinking for the proper season 1, because this world I started in the pre-release in the snapshots of 1.18, but we're in the pre-release stage of 1.18 now. It's essentially out just in these pre-release versions, so it's fully compatible, works fine. I think I might make for the proper season 1. I might just make this my world, like the world to do it in, to do season 1. You guys tell me what you think now, or well, tell me what you guys think now. Should I make this world, since it's technically a new start now, at least for upon this block? Should I make this world like the starting place for the proper season 1 when 1.18 comes out? So what I'll do is I'll finish this up, but this is not really meant to be a church per se. It's meant to be like a personal palace with like treasure room and all that. But somewhere, maybe up here somewhere, maybe along this ridge line up here, or even somewhere up there, I want to make like a really big and nice church. So yeah, if you guys like that, hey Jeff, I'm just about to end the stream, bruh, but hey, thanks for coming anyway. I was just mentioning, because my old world for upon this block for the pilot season just kind of corrupted out of nowhere, so I couldn't play it. So now I'm going to my normal Minecraft world and I'm moving it here. But the intention was always, when Minecraft 1.18 comes out, I do a new world in 1.18 and the proper season 1 begins. And I'm thinking this may well just be the season 1 world right here. I think this might be it. So I've got a nice setup already. I've got plenty of resources, so we can get on it straight away. I just need to do a little bit of planning for where to place the church, what style to go with. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it, folks. So this was the somewhat anticlimactic season finale of of Upon This Block, the pilot season. I thank you all very, very, very much for watching, and I really, really hope you all enjoyed it all throughout. To give some final announcements. So now that college is over for me for a while, I am going to be returning to much more regular content, including getting on my long-form theology and history education videos, as well as maybe some responses to heretics and all that, because that's my focus. I'm not really into the interreligious apologetics so much. I'm more about like apologetics with Orthodox, Catholics, and then other outright heretics and all that. So that's my ministry is kind of inwardly focused with the Christian faith, because good apologet, my original slogan, good apologetics requires good theology. But yeah, so good videos coming up. Upon This Block will be regular once 1.18 comes out. Heck, I might even start it just next week, proper season 1. Yeah, long form video on the Quarter-Deciman controversy. Ancient history educational video. That'll be coming end of next week. That'll be released then. Christendom Weekly will make a comeback as well. That'll be awesome. And I have quite a bit of collabs coming up. So if any of you are familiar with my buddy, so my buddy here in the comments, Jeff Robinson, his proper channel, A Goy for Jesus, we did our the second part of our response to Swan Sona, who somewhat recently gave his major argument for Catholicism by appealing to the Jewish Sanhedrin, and how it allegedly continues in Rome. So we did our response to that. We've actually organized a dialogue with Swan, probably on my channel. So there'll be a back and forth with him discussing his argument, giving our critiques. He gives our his responses. What else? Yes, interview / educational session with Dr. David A. Falk, Egyptologist. His channel is Ancient Egypt in the Bible. Really, really awesome stuff. So that'll be an interview on how to approach history, how to read documents properly, interpret them, critique them, how to interpret archaeological data. And then a Q&A, and then a little surprise thing, which I won't let loose yet. So yeah, all that. Christendom Weekly is coming back. My video on the biblical role of government, responding to this whole situation, that's still coming. That'll probably be coming 2 weeks after the Quarter-Deciman video is released. And yeah, that's basically it thank you all very much for attending. I'm really happy to have seen you here. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great time. Probably either next week or the week after, once 1.18 drops, or even before. Proper season 1, the proper real season 1 for Upon This Block will be starting. So, thank you all very much for coming. It has been fantastic. It really has been fantastic. And have a great day, the other Paul. Looking forward to more videos. Thank you very much, Matt. And thank you all for coming. I hope you all have a blessed day, a blessed evening. Do please pray for us, because there's big protests in Sydney. That it go well, that it really shake up the government. And pray generally for the Australian government and our state governments that they relent, that they realise the error of their ways, and life can return to normal. Yeah, thank you all very much for that. And do drink plenty of Beepus, Andrew. Do drink plenty of that. I know I will be today. You guys all have a blessed day or a blessed evening. God bless.